Want to improve your Spanish and feel more at home in Spain? Amazing, because today we are diving into the benefits of language and cultural immersion and how it can transform the way you learn Spanish and connect with the locals. Hola, bienvenidos. You're listening to The Good Expat, the podcast where you'll discover how to learn Spanish effectively, develop a confident mindset, and build meaningful connections in Spain the right way. I'm your host, Coach Jaime, and my guest this week is Neurolanguage coach and co-founder of LinGo Immersion, Brigida Herrera, who shares her unique approach using neuroscience and immersion to help learners build confidence and tackle language barriers. Together, we explore why immersion is more than just a learning method, how real-life connections boost language retention, and practical tips for overcoming challenges like cultural shocks. And guys, just to remind you that the Good Expert podcast has only been live for a few weeks, and I am still learning about how to record and invite guests and the whole technical side. And I appreciate that on today's episode, the audio quality is not the best, but it's okay. I already learned from my mistake, and it won't happen again. And also, since this project is very new to me, I super appreciate any feedback from you. So I know that you're out there, you're listening, you're here with me, and you're enjoying this content. So any likes, any rating, any comments is super appreciated. I'm telling you, you don't know how much it means to me when I see those likes and comments go up, huh? Just because it's a new project, so I need to know that this is working for you. So I need to know that I'm going in the right direction, and this project not only makes sense in my head, but is going in the right direction. All right, so let's start today's episode. So bienvenida, Brigida. ¿Qué tal?
Muchas gracias. Muy bien. Un placer estar aquí.
Welcome to the Good Expat Podcast.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I know that you are a little bit, not afraid, but you're a little bit sort of conscious of your English. Isn't that right?
Is it? And it has been a while since I haven't done any interview or speak like publicly in English. So it's really interesting to feel the way your students feel when they need to face these kind of situations. So putting myself in their shoes, it's a big challenge, but I'm very happy that we can share these thoughts in English.
I'm that kind of person that when I experience something, I don't know, challenging or negative, that I like to just face it and put it out there. So it's not with us, it's not lurking with us, it's out here. Everybody knows, it's okay, no worries. But mira,
Yeah,
Brigida,
that's right.
for anybody listening, and coming to the show today, what can they expect? What do you think the benefit of this conversation can be for anybody listening?
Well, actually, it's a good starting point. This is what we said, like how we feel when we need to face a challenging situation. We will be talking about cultural immersion and learning a new language. So I will try to help students who have that feeling of I'm immersed in a new language, or I'm immersed in the culture. I have to face some challenging situations. I don't know what to do. I feel frustration. I have some fear. And at the end of this chat, this conversation, I would like them to know that there are so many benefits of immersing yourself in a cultural immersion and living this kind of experience, that facing those challenges is just part of the process, but the results and all the benefits they can expect after this are much more bigger than this.
Mhm. Okay. I'm very curious because as a Spanish coach, an integration mentor, I've got my own take for what immersion is and the importance in the process of learning a language and uh, relocating to Spain and connecting. So I'm very curious to see what your take is because I think it's an important part of the process. Huh? But tell us a little bit about yourself as a neurolanguage coach. What's your work like? What do you do? What does a neurolanguage coach do?
Well, I found this methodology not long time ago, and actually it combines everything I believe in. So I'm passionate about neuroscience, to learn how the brain works, what what a powerful weapon or tool we have, and being able to know how to help my students through neuroscience. It's something that I embrace and I love to do. So when we talk about neurolanguage coaching, it's like this approach where you teach the language helping yourself and using all the tools of the knowledge we have from neuroscience, and also using the basics of coaching, like teaching through powerful questions, conversations, and being aware as well of the feelings of your student, trying to help them to find their own way to learn the language and to go through the whole process. So I'm not the one who's telling anyone what to do, how to learn. I'm just trying to accompany, to be there during the process. So the autonomy is the main character.
I'm excited about this. I think today we are in very good hands.
Hope so. I will do my best.
Okay, so where should we go from here? What do you have
Well,
prepared
I
for
would
us?
like, as you said before, I'm a neurolanguage coach. This is what I do, but I'm also now immersed in a project, and we are working on bringing cultural immersion programs to the next level to help students really to reach their goals. So I really would like to combine all these things like neuroscience, language learning, even coaching, but it's not the main point, with the power of the cultural immersion to improve the language, to learn the language, because actually is one of the most powerful ways and effective ways to really learn the language, the culture, and as I always say, to open the door to different worlds and realities. So today I will try to talk as a neurolanguage coach, language teacher, and also as a person who loves languages and who has immersed herself a couple of times in different cultures. So we will try to combine all these things. We can talk about the culture immersion and the power of immersive programs.
What's Okay, so let's talk about the benefits, no? The benefits
Mhm.
of immersing. Is this for everybody? Can anybody benefit from immersion, or is there it's only for a specific situation or cases?
Definitely. It doesn't matter who you are, your background, the language you learn, you will always get some benefits. You will always learn something when you immerse yourself in a different language and in a different country or culture. And if we talk about languages, it's as I say, it's like you feel the language, you feel everything you have been learning through the books, through internet, through applications, through online classes. Then it's like everything becomes more real. um, I can set a very simple example. Um, just maybe you know how to prepare the Spanish omelette, una tortilla de patatas, but the feeling of being in a kitchen with someone explaining to you how to cook. When you touch the ingredients, you can feel the products. You sense everything. You feel the smell. The experience. It's incredible. So you will probably remember much better how to prepare the omelette if you live it in a real environment. So when we talk about immersions, there are so many benefits about how to live the experience that anyone can feel it. And if we connect, as we said before, with the neuroscience and benefits for learning, there are like a few blocks or a few main ideas that I would like to share with the audience. And one of them is memory, because when you need to force yourself to speak in a different language every single day, you need to make the effort to find the words to connect with everything you did before, and your brain is constantly looking for the way of saying things. You really practice your memory in a way that you wouldn't do. You won't make this effort if you just learn the language once, twice a week. So it's a really good way to work on your memory. It's a really good way to work on the focus, because sometimes when we are in the immerse environment around people talking another language, we probably, I think you understand me, Jaime, like you really need to concentrate to know what they're talking about. You really need to focus on the situation. You really need to put all your senses in this that you're learning. So it helps with focus, and not only when we talk about learning the language, but in general, it's another skill that you can develop in your daily life situation. So we have memory, we have focus, we have problem solving. skill, because sometimes the same, you really need to say something you don't know how to say. You are in a situation where you cannot use your phone, no one can translate, there are no technological tools or applications to help you, but you really need to solve the problem. Maybe someone just comes to your house because they need to repair something. Maybe you need to talk to your colleagues at work and there is no one to help. So at some point we help to develop this skill of critical thinking, problem solving. I need to find a solution fast. And in another way, if you are not immersed in the culture, in the language, is much more difficult to find that kind of situations. And I also like the creativity as a really important benefit of this. And as we do in your language coaching, we always say connect everything. It's like learn the new language from your previous experiences. Try to connect with the languages you have already learned. And it's incredible because when you connect all the dots, at some point it's like the creativity explodes and you open, as I always say, your mind, your eyes, your ears, and it's you open the door to a new world actually. And the benefit that I like the most, and I will compare this with exercising, is the way we can strengthen our mind, our brain. This is like when you go to the gym. First day, probably you feel tired, you have no energy. It's really difficult, but finally, at the end of the day, is a workout. So you are really helping your brain to be fit. So if I can like summarize all these benefits, I will say memory, focus, problem solving, creativity, and the way we can strengthen our mind, our brain. So of course, I encourage everyone to use the cultural language immersion to improve the language.
Okay, so this is definitely not a gimmick or a buzzword where no, that you need to immerse. No, immersion is very important. This is the benefits of pushing clients and students towards this new reality
Yeah.
are all over, huh?
And actually, this is Hami, very interesting when you said the new reality. And this is the key word, reality, the real world. And especially in a world where everything is technological, we are getting used to see each other just through the webcam or with online classes. At some point, people say, okay, now I really need to travel to the country. I really need to have this contact with another people, no? The human touch, the human experience. And this is something we cannot forget. We learn better the language and anything when we are surrounded by people. Let's remember that we are social uh, beings, so we need the contact with people. And I can see this every day in my classes. I'm online teacher, so sometimes my students say, yeah, it's really good to have online classes, but I need more. And at that point of your learning process, when you feel that now I need more, is the moment really to immerse yourself in a cultural experience. So this is like the new reality when people just want to leave the or yeah leave the house, leave the screen, and just go outside, travel, and learn in a different way, in a real way.
That's very interesting about the online lessons and wanting to immerse. I'm going to share something with you, and then you tell me
Please, yeah,
what you
sure.
think. I feel that I got many students, clients, people interested about learning that prefer working with a professional in person because they feel they're gonna get that first-hand experience with somebody in real, and they feel they're gonna be much more immersed in the learning process by spending time with a professional one-to-one. But I argue that the job of a professional is not to give that personal touch to the student, is to motivate, to create, to indicate, and to guide so that they can go and get it in their private life, right? So the work with a professional could be online, and you're learning everything you need to learn. You're coaching, you're teaching, but there's a strategy behind. There's a plan for you on the weekend for you to go to that intercambio event, for you to create something, or for you to listen. What do you think about that?
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think the online teaching or one-to-one in-person teaching is not the problem. It's like how you connect with the person, because you can be one-to-one teacher in person. I've done it before, and actually now I'm back to one company, and it's really nice to have the people in front of you, and there is a lot of information that we get when we are in the one-to-one classes in person. But at the same time, I think it's not the matter of where I'm getting the class, it's the connection you make with the person, because you can have a teacher next to you and don't feel any connection, and you can have a teacher who is the other part of the world and you feel immediately the connection, and that's what is more important in the learning process, that you connect with the person. And as professionals, this is also part of our job, just to make efforts to connect with the person that we have in the other side of the screen, so they keep this motivation, and we share with them all these tools, as you said. So when they are not with us in the class, they can just go outside and face those situations. And it is very interesting this that you say, Jaime, because and I've been facing this with my students lately. Some of them say, okay, when I'm with you, when we're talking, I feel safe. This is like a safe environment, a safe place where I can talk, I can share my thoughts. But then I struggle when I need to go out to meet some people, to share dinner with my friends. And as a neurolanguage coach, I always try to analyze that kind of situations. And sometimes the language is not the problem. The problem is the fear, how our mind is blocked. So that's why challenging ourselves in those kind of situations, as I said before, or in the immersion, it's so important. And my job as a neurolanguage coach, as a language teacher, sometimes is not to teach the vocabulary or the grammar. This is not the priority at all. Is to connect with the student, to help them to be motivated, and to give them the tools to challenge, to face those fears, frustrations, and problems that we all face when we are learning a language. Because don't forget that it's a process and it takes some time. So I really agree with you. So,
Mm.
and I will tell everyone, go for online lessons if you like it, or one-to-one. But it's not about the distance. I think it's more about the connection that you finally make with the person you have working with.
I remember specifically this woman telling me that she craved that personal touch, no, and then that she wanted Spanish community, and then she preferred to work with a professional one on one to get that personal touch. But then I argued that I'm just a tool. I'm not. You're not going. You shouldn't be. I shouldn't be completing you. I'm going to help you in the process for you to go and create that community and build that tribe. But I'm just a tool. You use me, you learn from me, I show you the way, but you go and get it.
And
What's
you're
so good?
free after that. No,
You're
this is,
free. You're
we say, this is
uh,
our job. I don't want to have you as a student forever. I
well, I'll
just
be
want
in
to
trouble.
help you.
Yes, it's kind of it's one of those contradictory. You want to stay in, I suppose, from a business perspective, you want to stay with the client for as long as possible,
Yes.
but at the same time, that means that we're not doing a good job here, no?
Exactly. So it's like, I just want to give you the tool. So
Yeah.
after 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, you can just fly away from me and really practice and enjoy all the things you have learned, no? So yeah, I agree with you, I agree with you. And this is what I mean about connections. Like, I have some students, I don't know, I had classes with them many years ago, many years ago. Sometimes it's like, wow, we know each other since 2014 and we're still in touch, or you're still coming to my classes, or and I think it's because it's a connection. Some people say, "No, I just come to talk to you. I missed you. I just would like to practice a bit more." But they are already free. They have all the tools, so they can just go outside and talk and use the language. No, at the end, this is what I'm trying to teach them. So
Mm.
in this case, I agree with you.
Hey friend, I want to pass by to invite you to my online Intro to Spanish live workshop. It's perfect for beginners who don't know how to begin learning Spanish, for Duolingo users who feel stuck and can't speak with confidence, and even for those taking lessons but feel a little bit disconnected from the locals. You'll discover an original 6-step roadmap to quickly learn Spanish and connect with the locals, and I'll show you how to avoid the 12 common mistakes that waste time, money, and effort. If you want to join for free, check out the link on the description. Okay, and what other challenges do you see your students facing in that journey?
A lot. Here I can talk as a language student, as a teacher, as a coach, language coach. The first one is the barrier, the language barrier. When you are in that kind of situations with your friends, with colleagues, you go to the school, you see other families with kids, and you really don't understand what they are saying. And you have that kind of face, trying to pretend that you understand, and inside, like, I really have no idea what they're talking about. And there is a lot of frustration when the student is surrounded by local people with a lot of, for example, cultural references. They talk about music, about films, about, or just a daily life using that kind of vocabulary that you really need to have a high level to understand. And with the Spanish, I think we do it a lot.
Mm.
And that's a big challenge, facing this language barrier. So I always tell my students, it's a part of the process and you need to be aware of this. Of course, we understand the frustration. I felt it myself. So I really know what they are talking about. But I always try to pass no this feeling, this message. Okay, maybe today you don't understand the conversation, but if you keep practicing, in some time you will be able to understand more. You will feel better, more comfortable. But we really need to help them to understand it's a part of the process. It's normal to feel that frustration, and fear. Just ask, can you repeat? Can you say none of the words? Help me here. I'm completely lost. What are you talking about? And don't freeze, because when we freeze, it's much more difficult, to improve, to learn, and to feel comfortable. So just ask naturally, ask people to help. And another challenge can be the cultural shock. I've been in China for years, and I know myself, how you immerse yourself in a different language, in a different culture. Sometimes, like, wow, what am I doing here? I don't understand anything. Why people are acting in this way? This is polite. This is not. I see my students who always say, why people shout so much in bars and restaurants, and they're
Well,
shocking.
welcome to Spain.
Yeah, and I
We
always
like it
tell you
like
the
that.
same. This is how we are. And actually, something happened just last weekend. We have some friends visiting us, and I said, okay, we are going to the local market just next to my house. You will really feel the atmosphere in a traditional bar with all the noise, well, people just having a beer, chatting with neighbors, that kind of atmosphere. It's something you cannot, as I said before, it's something you cannot see in a book, or you cannot feel through online classes. You really need to immerse yourself in the culture to feel it. But this culture shock made them sit on the chair, like, kind of afraid. They didn't know what to say and how to say. It's like, should I? They were wondering, should we shout as well or what? Because I cannot hear what you're saying to me. And that kind of situations, like, it can be a shock. So, as I always say to my students and friends and family when they come to visit, open your eyes, open your ears, open your mind, and just observe what's going on around you. Because probably, you will really enjoy and you will learn from other people, cultures, and I think it's something very rich. But it's true that at the beginning it can be shocking, and I think, as we said before about the workout of the brain, when we immerse ourselves in a different language, in a different culture, sometimes we're exhausted, mentally exhausted. And at the end of the day, you feel tired, you have a horrible headache, you don't want people to talk to you, because it can be too much. Our brain is processing a lot of information during the day, and it's tiring. Again, with the example of the gym, first days, first weeks, probably it will be hard for you. But after some time you will feel so much better, the benefit, and you will see that in a short period of time you improved a lot, and probably thanks to the immersion in the culture. But it can be exhausting, and now I can talk as a student or language learner. I remember when I went to France, first time, it was my Erasmus, but I studied French, so I really wanted to practice every day. And at the beginning, I didn't talk. My friends were saying, "Hey, why aren't you talking?" And I said, like, "I can't. I'm too tired. I have a horrible headache." Or when I was in China, the same. I was so tired when I was going home after the whole day learning Chinese, speaking English. It was exhausting. So it's normal. But of course, after some time China, I learned much more than in 4 years of learning Chinese at the university, because I was really immersed and pushing myself. But it can be a challenge. So at the beginning, if we combine all these things, like the tiredness, how you feel exhausted, the cultural shock, as I said before, the language barrier, and even the high expectations we have, like, oh, I will go to the immersion program and I will learn so fast. And then you feel all these things that it makes the process a bit slow. So these expectations is also a challenge. But if you are aware of this, if you know that this can happen and you have the tools to manage the emotions and control them, everything will be much easier and the journey will be more pleasant. So this is our job as language coaches and neuro language coaches, just to give all these tools so our students know how to face those situations and keep learning in a very safe and relaxed, if I can say, environment. But there are big challenges that they need to be aware of.
I see that as two. Well, life is all about choices, but with regards to integrating and learning languages, you can choose. You can choose to go the easy way, where you're playing with an app. You're not even talking to anybody,
Yeah.
or or maybe you're working with somebody and you show up, you have a conversation, and only just showing up for that call, for that lesson, is a bit of a physical element. But the closer the student or the expat gets to the real situation, the closer they get to a live experience, the more physical it gets. It's more real. That's more fears, more insecurities. Like you said, it's you get tired, and it takes a lot of mental energy, and you feel it.
Mhm.
And students don't get to realize that, but it's our job to make them understand that it's absolutely normal. And the more you show up, the more you see it as the way it is, and you build that strength to deal with situation. I remember situations hanging out with when I've been in other countries, when you're socializing with a group and you're like, I'm trying to understand and I'm trying to quiet my fears, so I'm pressing in the moment. Wait, give me a couple of beers to, to feel good. No, that's what beer helps, because it brings
That's
down that.
exactly. That's a very good point. I said before about I spoke about my problem in France, that I couldn't find the moment to speak French. But when we were hanging out at night with our French friends and there were some beers on the table, I was speaking a lot, and people were saying, "Brigida, but you can really speak French. Why do you don't speak during the day?" I said, "I don't know. Maybe because after 2 beers, sorry for promoting here the
No,
alcohol consumption, but
we are
at some point
explaining
it's
the
like
way it is. This is the way it is.
exactly, it's like you relax, and it helps you feel like somehow less tense. Your muscles are like, and the same with your brain. So it's like you relax and you talk more. So that's why feeling or being around people you trust in a safe place, and feeling well can help you a lot in those situations. And I totally agree. I totally agree. And I always say, after 2 beers, my students also told me this many times. Like, when I go out and I have some beers, everything is better. Like, okay,
Well, we are not from here from the Good Expat podcast. We are not promoting alcoholism.
of
We are just
course, it's
saying,
not the
we are
goal.
just saying to use alcohol strategically, for and to choose it, carefully for that particular moment where you would like to relax a little bit, to let go.
Yeah.
You are not going to remember, don't try to remember, don't expect to remember much vocabulary the day after or anything, but focus on letting the guard down a little bit so you
It's a
build that
feeling.
rapport and you connect,
Exactly. Yeah.
especially if you go to an intercambio event, which could be quite intimidating, especially as an adult, like your ego, what the fuck am I doing here, blah blah blah, all those voices, no. So yeah, only two
All
beers. I
all
think
the
that's it.
fears.
Two beers is acceptable. More than
For some people, even a half. I
no.
didn't drink for many years after being a mom, and sometimes just small caña, as
Oh, tres.
we have, for example, in Andalusia, it's more than enough for me to feel relaxed. So, but
You know your
yeah,
limits.
it's the exactly. It's like probably as you said, and this is something very important. Like you won't remember the words you learned, but you will remember the feeling. And when you connect your memories with the feeling, everything is much easier. And the same if we keep talking about the cultural immersion, if you are in a bar with friends and it's that feeling, that atmosphere, what you're gonna remember. So if you connect the the feelings, if you connect the experience with the learning process, probably your motivation will raise. Like, wow, this is so fun. I'm learning so much, and you feel all the benefits of the process, then probably you will keep going. So finding those moments, those people who really help you, encourage you to improve and to connect, as you said, emotionally, physically, with the language, the place, with the community. It's very important on the process of learning a language. Definitely.
we we haven't talked about grammar. We haven't talked about tenses. It's kind of secondary now. For now, it's like that. We cannot assume that for now that's being covered, and then this process is the next level. It's really through immersion, it's getting closer to people, getting closer to the culture, and getting
Exactly.
closer to the way of living in Spain, huh?
Exactly. It's a secondary thing, I think, sometimes. For me, as a language coach, it's not, my goal is not to teach you grammar if you are feeling frustration, for example, or if you fear to talk to people. First, we will be working on how to relax, how to have some more confidence, how to increase your motivation, how to work on all those aspects of the process. And when you feel comfortable, when you feel that is a good moment, then we can do some grammar, structure, and other things. But if the person is afraid, if the person has so many fears, frustrations, it's not easy to learn. I mean, your brain is blocked. It's like the information won't enter. You need to unblock that those bad feelings, because anytime we are learning something, it's much easier if you learn and you feel good and you feel relaxed and your brain is in a good shape, and then you can talk. But if we try to teach something from the stress, from the frustration of the student, it's a battle that we have lost already, I think. So it's really important to connect and to know the emotions and to work on this, to help our learners to keep going.
When I inspire my clients to overlook the to go over their fears, their insecurities, their barriers, and I help them to relax, then they can produce something. They can speak, they can give me an idea, they can tell me about their day. Whereas before, they knew exactly the same Spanish, but just because they had this limitation in front of them, they couldn't break through. So
Exactly.
I think I agree with you. It's really the first. I find that more important work. And this is
It is.
exactly the type of conversations that I wanted to have on this podcast, because I feel that most students, anybody who moves to Spain and is looking into learning Spanish, the first thing that they think is, okay, give me words and give me verbs and give me tenses. Like, wait, no, you're missing. That is
You
only
need security. You need awareness of the process. You need to have the information of these challenges you're going to face and how to solve those kind of situations, because it will come. You will need to face them. So yeah, you need probably vocabulary and grammar, But what you also need is to know what you're going to face when you go to the country, when you immerse yourself in the local community. You need to know more about the behavior, people, culture. This is a really powerful tool to help you when you immerse yourself in a new country, and of course the language, but this is a part of the process. So I agree with you, sometimes it's better to feel confident at the beginning, and when you have this motivation, this confidence, then you say, okay, now is the time to keep going with grammar, vocabulary, and connect everything together. No, it's a part of everything. But yeah, those values are very important. I agree with you.
Mhm. You you are doing a very important work of with regards to immersion with your company, right? With
We
LinGo.
just Yeah, we are very happy actually because recently, a few days ago, we launched the new site. So we expect now some teachers already waiting for the new site to publish their immersion programs. So there will be some activities, immersive activities to do in cities or in towns with a teacher. But there will be some staying. So there is also the possibility for our learners to find a teacher, stay at their place, and live with a teacher, with a family, with his people around, and also have some classes, of course, but immerse in the daily life with the teacher. And also, we have some immersive programs. So there are three categories, as I said: activities, sustain, and full immersive programs. And the thing that we like the most in this project is that the teacher is responsible for everything from the very first moment. So you really immerse yourself in the culture of the town, the city, and the country. In this case, we will start from Spain, but you will have a teacher next to you all the time to help you with all these fears, challenges, situations. So it's one of the best ways, as we were saying before, to immerse yourself in the local community, to leave the comfort zone. This is something I always recommend: is force yourself to leave the comfort zone. Try with the immersive experience because there are so many benefits. And yeah, we are very happy with the project. The name is LinGo Immersion. So I encourage everyone to visit the site, because very soon they will find much more destinations, teachers, and different immersive experience to feel all these things and aspects of the learning process we have been talking about.
So you're saying that people can log into the website and find and download activities, as well as being able to enroll in programs or hired a teacher and go and live with them. So they got different
Exactly.
levels.
There are no activities like you download the activity. It's like a real activity in the town. For example, now I just today actually I published my experience, and it would be like I will accompany a group of people in the morning through my neighborhood. So I will go with them to the farm to see some animals. Actually, it's an activity for families, I have to say. So we'll go to the farm to see some animals. We'll go to the local market, to the local bar I was talking before, and we will discover the way of living of local people on a Saturday morning when everyone is just walking on the street, chatting with neighbors. And so it's an activity with your teacher in the city. And of course, there will be some language program with some activities and vocabulary. We will learn something, but the main goal is to help learners to feel the real life, the daily life here, in my case, in Barcelona. So any teacher is welcome to go to the website, publish an experience, so they can choose, or an activity if they cannot have students at their place, staying, so they can be host and teachers at the same time, or they can create the full immersive program and receive a group of students, and for example, for a few days organize some activities, of course, language learning. So it's a marketplace where teachers and students can meet and enjoy in both ways the cultural immersion. Teachers can provide it, and our learners can enjoy those experiences with the teacher.
It's a wow! I didn't know the extent of the service, and that reminds me this one time where I had a spare bedroom in a house, and I decided to get a French guy to move in with me for free to stay in that bedroom. So I would have a French person living with me, and that guy would drive, and in that process of having to wake up and having to say good morning in French, which I forgot now. It was a long time ago. Uh,
Exactly. So you are living with a person.
uh-huh.
You are sharing time with the teacher. There is always a teacher involved. It's like all the profiles are teachers with experience. So we want to guarantee that there is a professional who is helping you to improve the language through the cultural and language immersion. So yeah, now we start in Spain. Maybe one day we'll be able to do
Well,
it
it's a
in different
concept.
countries.
It's a
It's a
concept now.
concept, and we are very happy with the idea. So we want to help, like for example, Erasmus students who are coming to Spain and they need to start from somewhere. They look for a teacher, a place to stay. Some expats, for example, living here in Barcelona who want to immerse themselves in the real life, leave this comfort zone sometimes in the international environment and discover some hidden neighborhood in the city so they can, for example, have these kind of activities as I'm doing. Or for some people who say, okay, I want to spend my holiday in Spain, learn some Spanish, know a bit more about the culture, so they can also find some program, like for example to spend a week in the mountains in Asturias with a teacher, visiting
Mm.
around, learning the culture, discovering the environment. So there will be like different kind of experiences. So when they will go to the website, they will be able to find them. So we are now, as I said, talking to the teachers who are like working on this new profiles and experiences, and hope soon the students can have a very big offer so they can go to Andalusia, Canary Islands, Catalonia, like any place in Spain, and really enjoy, really like feel the experience of learning the language through cultural immersion.
Wow. Pues, Brigida, thank you very much for enlightening us and sharing with us, and going a little bit more in depth of what I knew about immersion, and the benefits and who can benefit, and the transformation for somebody, and showing us how immersion is really is a shortcut between the language and the person. Huh? Is there anything else you would like to share with us?
Yeah. Well, just like quick recommendations, if I may say, like
Mhm.
when we think of immersion, as I said before, please go into local community, immerse yourself with local people from the day one, even if it's
Mm.
hard. Then avoid the comfort zone. It's much easier to speak with people who know your language. You don't need to make the effort, but try to avoid the comfort zone. Try to involve yourself in daily life situations. Go to the market to talk to the people instead of going to the supermarket and just take the tray. So you force that kind of conversations. And of course, I always say seek for feedback and ask people to correct you, ask questions, be curious. This is very, very important. Observe. This is the key when we are learning. And of course, ask and learn in the process. So this would be like my final recommendation.
Well, muchas gracias, Brigida.
A ti,
Brigida,
Jaime, por invitarme.
Neuro Language Coach from LinGo Immersion, will share your details on the podcast description.
Perfect. Many
Vale,
thanks.
cariño. Muchas gracias.
A ti. Hasta pronto. Adiós.
I hope you enjoyed today's episode of the Good Expat Podcast, and here we have loaded another great episode for you. But before you click on it, it will mean the world if you could take a moment to like, comment, and leave a review on this current episode. And of course, if you're feeling extra generous, it will be awesome if you share it with somebody else who you think might find it valuable. With your help, I can reach out to more people, and you help me on my mission of breaking language barriers and bringing people together. Once again, thank you for being part of the Good Expat community, and I'll catch you on the next one.